The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council fell silent as Ambassador Thomas Reed walked to the center of the floor. The massive circular room housed representatives from over 300 species, many of whom had never seen a human in person before. Their multiple eyes, sensory appendages, and breathing apparatuses all focused on the small, seemingly fragile being who stood before them. "Honored Council," Thomas began, his voice amplified by the chamber's acoustics. "The human delegation thanks you for this emergency session." High Counselor Dren, a tall, crystalline being who led the proceedings, leaned forward. "Ambassador Reed, you claim your species has developed technology that can resolve the Centauri blockade. This council has spent 50 cycles trying to breach the Vorax defensive line. What could humans possibly offer that 300 other species cannot?" A murmur swept through the chamber. The Vorax Empire had expanded aggressively for centuries, consuming resources and enslaving populations across the galaxy's eastern spotable arm. Their quantum barrier technology had proven impenetrable to conventional weapons. Thomas nodded respectfully. "We request permission to demonstrate, rather than explain, High Counselor." Dren consulted with the other 11 members of the High Council before responding. "Permission granted. The Council will reconvene at the observatory deck." 30 minutes later, the councilors and senior ambassadors crowded around the massive viewing screens of the station's observatory. Thomas stood beside Captain Maria Wilson, who had just arrived from the human fleet holding position at the edge of the system. "The human vessels are remarkably small," observed Ambassador Krubel of the Tellurian Dominion, his tentacles waving dismissively. "How can these tiny ships challenge the Vorax when our dreadnoughts have failed?" Maria smiled politely. "Size isn't everything, Ambassador." She activated her communication device. "Admiral Jackson, you are cleared to proceed with Operation Thunderbolt." On the main view screen, the assembled aliens watched as 50 human vessels, each no larger than a standard trading ship, arranged themselves in a precise formation. The ships began to pulse with a blue light that grew steadily brighter. "What you're witnessing," Thomas explained, "is our synchronized quantum field technology. Each ship generates a relatively small field, but when calibrated together, the blue glow suddenly connected all 50 ships like a web of lightning. A collective gasp filled the observatory as the energy coalesced into a single brilliant point of light. "Impossible," whispered High Counselor Dren. "The energy readings are off the scale." Maria nodded. "The sum is greater than its parts. We call it the symphony effect." On screen, the human fleet released a concentrated beam of energy toward a designated testing area. The beam cut through space like a knife through cloth, creating what appeared to be a tear in the fabric of reality itself. "What you're seeing is a controlled dimensional fracture," Thomas explained. "It doesn't destroy the Vorax barriers. It bypasses them completely by shifting partially into another dimension." The council members watched in stunned silence as the beam stabilized, creating a tunnel through space that bypassed all defensive systems in its path. "This technology," Maria continued, "allows us to create safe passages through any barrier. We can transport ships, supplies, or evacuation vessels for the colonies trapped behind Vorax lines." Ambassador Lorne of the Makari Collective stepped forward, his mechanical eyes whirring as they adjusted focus. "The energy requirements must be astronomical. How did your species solve the containment problems?" "Through failure," Thomas replied simply. "Humanity tried for decades to build bigger, more powerful single ships. We failed every time until engineer James Green suggested we stop trying to build one perfect vessel and instead create a fleet that works in harmony." High Counselor Dren's crystalline form shimmered with emotion. "They are offering this technology to the Council." "With conditions," Maria replied. "We will provide the passage through Vorax lines, but we need the Council's combined fleet to secure the colonies once we break through. This is not a human victory. It must be a galactic alliance." Several hours of intense negotiation followed. Some council members feared the humans would use this technology for their own expansion after the Vorax were defeated. Others worried about the dimensional stability of such passages. Thomas addressed their concerns candidly. "We understand your hesitation. Humanity is new to the galactic stage. We haven't earned your trust yet. But we've seen the reports from the enslaved colonies. We've heard the distress calls. We cannot wait another 50 cycles while we debate politics. Captain Wilson stepped forward. We're not asking for control of this operation. We're offering a key to a locked door. What we do once that door is open should be decided by all of us together. The council voted. The resolution passed with only 3 dissenting voices. 2 weeks later, the combined fleet of the Galactic Council assembled at the edge of Orcs territory. 200 human ships formed the vanguard, their synchronized quantum fields creating a massive dimensional corridor through the previously impenetrable blockade. As the Liberation Fleet moved through the passage, Admiral Jackson transmitted to all ships, "Remember, this mission is about more than breaking barriers. It's about building bridges. Today, to prove that the greatest strength comes not from standing alone, but from standing together." The human fleet had indeed broken all limits, not just in technology, but in uniting a divided galaxy in a way no one had thought possible. As the rescue ships reached the first of the imprisoned colonies, the message spread throughout the galaxy. A new era had begun.